Welcome back to another episode of Just a Tip, the podcast where we talk about all the shit that everyone's thinking but nobody's saying. On this episode, we sit down with Michael Winter, aka Mr. Knish, aka Starfucker, aka Winter. And if you've spent any real time in nightlife, whether it's Boston or Miami, you already know his name. Winter came up the hard way. Security, doorman, promoter, restaurant owner on Boston's Lansdowne Street in the late 90s. Boston's Lansdowne Street in the 90s had absolutely no shortcuts, no social media cheat codes. People were relying on instincts, relationships, flyers, and knowing how rooms actually work. Fast forward to today, and Winter is running one of the biggest nightclubs in the world, Our Place 11. A place that managed to be chaos, hospitality, and a machine all in one time. We get into networking before it was actually called networking, how loyalty and trust actually move the needle in the industry, why egos kill businesses, and what it takes to survive when nightlife keeps reinventing itself. We talk history, we talk Boston versus Miami, clubs versus restaurants, shifts in guest behavior, and why hospitality, like real hospitality, is still the whole game. This one is stories, strategies, a lot of inappropriateness, and straight up war stories from someone who's seen it all and is still standing, my good friend, Mike Winter. Let's get into it. This episode of Just a Tip is brought to you by Rooftop Solutions. So the craziest thing happened. You might have even seen it in the news. A restaurant in Wynwood had to shut down for years after a leaky roof caved in. Imagine all that money, time, momentum gone just because the roof wasn't handled right. And that's why I always recommend Rooftop Solutions. They've been protecting homes and businesses all over Miami-Dade and Broward for over 20 years. They're local, based in Hialeah, and they take pride doing the job with honesty and craftsmanship so your roof stands the test of time. And here's the deal. If you got a leak, they will patch it for free while prepping your roof to be replaced. So unless you want to add a lazy river in your dining room, call Rooftop Solutions, tell them Felix sent you.
Boys and girls, we have a treat today. Once upon a time in the land of Boston, there was a promoter by the name of Felix Superstar. And in that time, he met a legendary man that would change the course of his life and really be a role model, a friend, and just somebody who, if you ever want fucking laughs, he is the guy. One of the most respected men, doormen, promoters, restaurant owners, just people who set the gold standard in our business. I am blessed, lucky, and super proud to have my boy, Michael Winter, a.k.a. Winter, a.k.a. Starfucker, on the show with us today. Brother, thank you so much for coming on, bro.
A.k.a. Felix Superstar, a.k.a. Knish.
Knish, the Knish, the Knish.
You know, we go back, we're going to date ourselves 28 years.
Yeah.
You know, I think, was it 98?
No, actually, I think it was like 97.
Oh, yeah, 97.
Or 90, what year, did you start at Bill's or?
No, yeah, I was at Bill's and Karma, like I was 97, 98, I came over.
So that's when I think that's when I met.
And that was actually me coming back because I was doing, originally started out selling VIP cars with Mr. Sean Christie.
Wow.
Back in like 90. He started at he started over at
Karma, right?
No, he was at he was working for Kevin Troy.
And Jillian's?
Jillian's.
Right.
He was working at Jillian's
Right.
as a bar back, and him and I started selling like VIP cards for Venus de Milo's.
Wow.
And we were whacking
and he was
people.
with Andy at the time, Massey, right?
Yeah, but it was even before that. It was us. We were just out there. We had some guys that got boxes of VIP cards for Venus de Milo's, and we were selling them for like $100 a whack, and it gets everybody in. Like, you know, that's how we like started on Lansdowne Street.
But for those people who don't know who you are, who live on the other side of the moon, obviously you are a Miami. You've went from a Boston legend to a Miami legend over at 11. But what for people who don't know, where are you from and what is your story?
Real quickly, I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up in Framingham, which was like, even though I got Boston tattooed on my chest, I mean, because I spent more time in Boston than actually Framingham. It was the largest town in the United States, and it's one of those things that I was that kid that loved music, played the saxophone, played sports, and was always into weightlifting and fighting. And
you're very good at it, I can attest.
It was one of those things that I naturally progressed to always wanting, I was the 15 or 16-year-old that was going to those underage, like 15 or 16-year-old clubs and stuff like that. And I was the guy that was selling the red cups at all the high school parties.
Right.
I was always like that door guy. I was always the guy
personality
running parties to make sure that everything was okay. And, and I was that guy. And it just progressed into going to the nightclubs to eventually, I'll never forget that what got me into Bills and Karma was that the first night there was a manager on, and I just see this white guy getting his ass pummeled, and nobody jumped in to help him by like three big dudes. Just,
how old were you at the time?
21.
Yeah, you were still, right.
I was 21 turning 22. I just got sober.
Right.
And I wasn't even supposed to I quit drinking. I wasn't even supposed to be in a club.
Right.
Like I was following this. I was new to AA, and I was, but I'm like, I'm going to go out. And I went out, and I just happened to, I knew a couple of guys that were bouncers, and I went over there. They let me in. I was hanging out. I just see this guy getting his ass kicked in. And it happened to be the GM on his first night. And he literally looks at me, he goes, I need you. I want, because I jumped in. I just started fighting all these big fucking huge guys, and I didn't care. And he's just like, I need you. And he's like, I'm going to bring you in. And he brought me into Karma to be like, to be like this guy to help clean up the club. And that's what
and for those that don't know, Karma was on the very famous Lansdowne Street in Boston, which if you went to school in Boston, there is a 99.9% chance that you've partied on the street, whether it was Avalon, whether it was Axis, whether it was Bill's Bar, Karma, Jillian's, Jake Ivory's.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? Modern
Axis,
Embassy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a time, man.
Yeah, that
time.
street was amazing. And it's like I naturally progressed that I knew that I saw the guys at the door, and I'm like, I want to be at the door. And then they put me out there, and I just started rocking it. And it was it was 19 plus back then.
Who kind of mentored you on that?
Dude, one guy only, Dominic with a beard.
Dominic.
Dude, if you guys are from Boston, and the funny thing is he's still there.
Amazing.
And I went to visit him. Shout
out to Dominic.
Dominic, you are a fucking legend.
Always the sunglasses.
Yeah,
black motorcycle
he was a guy that like, he's like, brother, you don't need to be a fucking knucklehead and fight everybody. It's like, you can talk to them and talk them out of shit and actually be a personality. And that's what, he could sit there and he would talk everybody and he'd talk people out of fight. But once in a while, when he had to handle shit, he'd fucking handle it.
Right.
And that guy, him and Laz were two of my biggest mentors in the business. Fucking Laz, what a great person he is. And again, I love you, Laz.
Shout out to Laz. We love you, buddy.
Those two guys were probably my biggest mentors coming up.
But was Laz on Lansdowne Shoe?
Yeah, he was. So Laz was like, they originally brought Laz to Open Embassy.
Right.
So Laz,
that's right.
So first, like Sean Christie was like in transition.
Right.
And he was actually at Modern Playhouse. He brought me up there. Then they brought Laz in. Laz kept me.
Right.
And then, it was very short-lived.
Right.
But, they brought me up. It's funny because, I'm going to say it, Steve Edelman was trying to kick me off the fucking door. He's like, he didn't want me. He didn't think that I was the right guy.
Well, I remember when Steve Edelman came in, that's when Andy Massey's like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
And then Sean Christie was like, fuck this, I'm out of here
And
too.
you know what? They started the Light Group in Las Vegas, and the rest is history.
Yeah, amazing. The amount of people and talent that came out of Lions Group.
Right.
And a lot of the guys have moved on to grow businesses and stuff. Big shout out to John Lyons, Patrick Lyons. Like, you guys have developed.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for the opportunities.
So many people that you guys have developed into just nightlife gurus, restaurateurs. It's amazing.
Famous DJ. Justin Hoffman does all the boxing fights now, and Fedor runs the Cosmopolitan, and there was like
Javier. Javier was like running like Venetian for a while too.
Our boy Ricky Fats.
Ricky Fats
he's
down here, and he's like,
we love him.
But he's a music director for TRP.
Yep,
runs like 10, 11 places.
He's the man.
A lot of people came out of that, and it's the Boston hustle. Right. I think that a lot of people, we are straight fucking hustlers.
Right.
Like the way we came up, and a lot of people know that, us as coming in as promoters, it was way different back then. We didn't utilize social media or cell phones. We were out there flyering every fucking night, going out every night,
giving your number to everybody.
Every single
going to
fucking
5
person.
parties a night. Just
Creating business
introducing-
cards that were
Right.
licenses.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I had to
Remember
come up with
those?
or black card, coming up with a lot of different strategic ways of marketing back then that is not utilized
The parking
nowadays.
tickets were great.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
yeah,
the parking tickets?
Or even like making fake $100 bills and then
Right.
throwing them on the ground, but then it's like a party.
Right.
Over it.
I remember Edelman was really good at doing those big Avalon flyers and bringing in the big DJs.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, definitely he was amazing with like the whole process of Avalanche when they connected, 5 major clubs.
Right.
All at once. You could go to Embassy, Modern, Avalon, Access, ID, like
Right.
or whatever. There was like
Green Room and the
everything. It was just one major mecca of just going into all these different rooms like one night a week.
Right.
And it was great because
Fridays.
I was
Friday night, baby.
Dude, I was at that door and I was the only one along all the police barricades. I had a space open.
Right.
And I would just absolutely rape people for money to get me.
Right.
I mean, the
And
cash.
I remember, like, if let's say somebody was wasted, though, I remember, like, you would try to go into Avalon, like, nope, they would get in through Access, or they would get in through.
There was no
or,
communication, but it was like, it's amazing that God, I miss those days. Like, I would have pants, from the line cuts. I would have a tailor make my pocket go all the way down to my ankles, and I would just fill the thing up so it would just be money would be all the way up, like
Right.
just cash. And
Right.
then we'd go down. I'd go into the basement of the embassy and just dump the cash under this. We'd have this little safe box
Right.
and we'd dump it in there, and then later we would, all cash up because like it would just be so much money back then.
Right. And Avalon, I mean, listen, that was 19 plus and
Yeah.
21 plus. And
Yeah, and then the whole thing changed 9/11.
right.
That's when things started changing in Boston.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think that's when it was really like.
Yeah, because it was like, we lost, again, there was so much Middle Eastern money. And
right.
those, they didn't, like, that's when things started changing.
But I think maybe like though it suffered like Avalon Thursdays, maybe
Yeah.
it was suffer because we still had like the Club Nicole's, we had Wednesday Pravda, we had
Yeah.
like Manos and Christoph's night. Like it was so funny how territorial nightclubs and promotional events.
Oh my
were.
God. And I used to like, it's crazy that some of my best friends, like people like Ace would send people flying down on Lansdowne Street, and I would literally, I would grab them from them. I'd give them like, here's $25.
You remember that?
And I would grab him. I would throw away, his flyers.
Right.
Sorry, Ace. I love you.
So if anybody who doesn't know who Ace is, Ace One Rocca, aka Ace Gershfeld, aka the 6 in the 617,
Seven, yeah.
with our boy Frankie and Sal.
yeah.
God, dude, those guys really did change the game.
Yeah, they did. And it's like, it's amazing that at first, like when before, like they started out, promoting and stuff like that. And I'd help them. And then, then I went into my own,
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it was right around when Craig got killed.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Lansdowne started getting dangerous
Right.
at that time. And they brought in,
Craig was a legend, dude.
yeah, they brought in Ray, this guy from
I remember him
Sound
from New York,
Factory.
from
New York.
Limelight.
Yeah, from Limelight.
Right.
And he thought, he literally gave me the option, and he goes, it was right around the time of my birthday.
Right.
And I just threw I threw my birthday party at Embassy.
Right.
And it was the busiest Wednesday night they ever had.
Right.
I brought in like 500 people.
But the time when they brought him in, it was like over. It was like
Yeah, they did. They brought him in, it was over. At the time, my dad was sick.
Right.
And he gave me the option. He goes, you can either be the director of security or like he didn't give me an option. He's like, I don't want you at the door. He said he wanted to change. I'm going to say this. He felt that it was better like a New York scene to
Right.
bring in all 6'5" African Americans to be at the door rather than having a 5'9" stocky little white guy
that everybody knows.
that everybody knows.
Right.
He wanted to change. And I said, okay. I go, just give me 2 weeks.
Right.
And I knew what I was going to do. I printed up more business cards. I got everybody's phone number in Embassy. and I went over and started my first night. And that's when Dino and those guys brought me over to Whiskey Park to start my first.
When was it? Wednesday?
Saturday.
Yeah,
yes.
So
I started this night at Whiskey Park working for like Randy Gerber, and I took over Whiskey Park, and I fucking whacked it for like 7 years, 8 years. Then then I started doing Saint, and then I was doing Saint Fridays.
Yep.
And you were with me.
That's right. I was with you.
You started it.
That's
you
right.
started with me.
That's right.
And we started Saint Fridays, and that fucking night was epic too. And then I would do. I started my Wednesdays at District, and which became crazy.
So let me tell you guys something I see all the time. You take over a second gen space, you think it's turnkey, but the second you walk in, it's not exactly what you need. Maybe the bar layout doesn't flow, maybe the kitchen's a little outdated, or the bathrooms look like they haven't been touched since the 90s. That's why I tell all my clients, you need to call Brodson Construction. Whether you're building from the ground up or not, you still need the finishing touches done right. Brodson's been local and family run since 1989. They're the top 1% in Florida, and they've handled everything from luxury homes on Star Island to some of Miami's best retail and restaurant spaces like LPM, Cipriani, Hillstone, Bell Harbor, just to name a few. Bottom line, don't settle for nickel and dime contractors who might underbid the work to win the job up front and screw you over in the end. Brodson maintains integrity every step of the process to build enduring relationships and never exploit clients. So remember, if you're going to build, call Brodson Construction.
Was it weird for you to go from like the door to kind of I remember you transitioning into helping out 617. I mean, listen, you go even way back with those guys when it was just Ace and Brandon.
Yeah, dude, I was their door guy at Bill's Bar when
Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
one of the most epic nights.
So Tuesday nights when they did that, and then they moved to a Rumor, so I'd always be with Ace. I mean, it was kind of that, like I then formed into East Coast Clubs, and it was always like 617 East Coast Clubs. It was like a natural progression. Like that's the one thing is that, as a doorman, I was always a promoter.
Right.
Always. I always was inviting people, always making sure I gave people my information, and because, I knew back then that networking was amazing.
Well, I think one of the things that made you so successful was because even today, you're always a man of your word. Everything you say you're going to do, you're going to do. So I think people kind of knew that, and if you are inviting someone, they knew that you were going to take care of them.
Yeah.
So, they always loved you. They always respected. They knew that you were going to give them always the VIP experience,
Yeah. And it's, I think it also comes back as like, I'm naturally an empath, and I really care about like people. Like, and it's like some people are like all about the money, but I actually care about taking care of them. And customer service, it's like where a lot of people don't look at it that you try to go up and beyond for these people.
Right. Why didn't you, even before then, why didn't you already stay on Lansdowne and try to do, they had so many different clubs and so many different rooms. Was it just like
it was because, like I said, and again, I have no ill will towards him because of Ray.
Right.
When he didn't give me that option, I knew that it was time for me to move on.
Right.
And again, it's like,
Well, I remember they brought in Alfred Oso, right?
Yeah, but that was after. Like, so...
Was Tom Mello? Was Mello still there?
Yeah, Mello was there, dude. Loved Mello. Mello was awesome. Great guy.
One of the greatest people in the industry, one of the greatest musical bookers all time,
Yeah.
Tom Mello, the fucking GOAT, along with John Debo, who doesn't get enough love and respect in the industry, too.
Yeah.
That guy was a fucking legend. So those guys were in first. So
Dave Ralph,
they brought in after, right?
Fucking legend, bro. Dave Ralph, big shout out. He
big
went
shout
on
out to Dave
he
Ralph.
went on to, I don't know if he's still with Insomniac, but he fucking was like with Insomniac for a long time.
Well, he was already, one of the biggest DJs, music producers.
He was
in the
one
world,
of the big Euro DJs when there were big, huge Euro DJs coming up.
He was I remember he was such a local celebrity. Like when they hired him on Lansdowne.
Manolo.
Oh,
big shout out to
Manolo.
And Manolo's partnered up at HQ.
Yeah,
like
that's
he's
amazing.
Crushing fucking Atlantic City, bro. Proud of you, brother.
Super proud of you, brother.
Best hearts. Such a good guy.
I think he just had a reunion at the Roxy.
Yeah, he did
in Boston, right?
That's where it's funny because that's where I was before the pandemic.
Right.
I was the director of Nightlife for Royale, which was Roxy.
Right.
And it's crazy, man. It's just how everything evolved. And it's like the other thing is that back then it's like I didn't have PR. I couldn't afford a PR person. So the reason that you said Starfucker was that Ace hated me for this. If I knew a celebrity was over there, I was such good friends with like the track girls or Inside Track or Herald. I get in there and get a picture because I knew how important a picture was.
Right.
And it'd be in the fucking newspaper the next day.
That's right.
I PR'd the shit out of myself.
You were the best at that. I don't think anybody. And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I got this movie premiere party at my place. I was like, how the fuck did you swing that? I'm like, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
bro, you know?
and it's So you know, we did a bunch of movie premieres, and the other thing was that to learn who to get into with, and I got in with the Teamsters.
Right.
So all the guys that were working on the films, the drivers, and people didn't realize that that's the edge. So I got in with a lot of the drivers that were local Boston guys, and they were Teamsters and unions, and I would be like, who do you got in town? And I'd be like, oh, Kate Hudson, okay, we'll bring her over here. You know, like if she want to go out, let her know, and we'll take care of her, or whatever. Johnny Depp, or whatever you want to.
Or when they were filming The Town, or when
anything. Yeah, we did a rap party at like Felt or something, and we had Matt Damon and Ben Affleck come in there, and it's like.
But they were regulars for you. Yeah, those guys were regulars. Yeah, they came to District all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Saint.
Saint, yeah, me and you with Ali Larder.
Oh, hold on, we're gonna go. Let's go into that. Yeah. So I remember it was Halloween.
Yeah, we were dressed as devils.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you're like, "Yo, Felix, I got somebody for you to meet." And I turned around, I was like, "That's the naked bitch from Varsity Blues,
with the fucking whipped cream." Yeah, she was dating Hayes MacArthur at the time.
They're married now.
And they were filming Game Plan.
That's right.
And Game Plan was, was great because it's like they had all the, who I became amazingly good friends with Tanawai Reed, the Rock stunt double, who's literally been with him for day one. One of the kindest souls I've ever met. I absolutely love him, and like they're.
Well, I think The Rock came in that night also.
Well, so The Rock didn't come into there. He came into when they were wrapping Game Plan. It was definitely the Game Plan. It was either Game Plan or it was Game Plan, not the Tooth Fairy movie.
It was Game Plan. It was the football player.
Yeah.
Right?
So he then came to District. And we knew he was going to come, and then at the time, me, Frankie was running District because they had 617 had a piece.
Right.
Of it.
I remember that.
So Jeff London and myself, we were running the Wednesdays. That was my party, and we literally had
District was great.
Yeah, we had The Rock come in there, and his server's name was Lauren, and who we put on him they ended up like.
Wait, hold on. Is this the same Lauren?
His wife.
Wow.
So he actually met her there. He met her there. We actually we knew that she could handle it better than anybody because her father was the drummer for the band Boston.
That's right.
She handled it. The Rock was totally loyal to his wife. I know that he just asked her the next day. They went on a duck tours, and they were just friends.
Right.
And then they started dating like a year later, but it was over that meeting at District that night.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's crazy that
there's been a lot of crazy celebrity stories.
A lot of connections in there.
Right.
That's the celebrities we met out of Boston, because again, it's such a small high school. That's the difference between like all these bigger cities. That Boston is a high school.
Right.
Everybody knows everybody, and it's such a transient city because we had 105 colleges within a 50-mile radius, and still to this day, there'll be people that come here to Miami, and they're like, "You look so fucking familiar,"
right?
And I'm like, "Well, I don't know." I go, "Are you from Boston?" They go, "No, but I went to BU."
Right.
I go, "I took care of you."
Right.
And then they're like, start freaking the fuck out because they're like, that happens all over the world because like whether I'm in England or something, you'll bump into somebody that went to college in Boston. They're like, I recognize you,
right?
Because there's so many students that just come there,
right?
And that they just, they end up moving on to their professional lives, and it's all of a sudden they're like, they see you, and you're like, what the fuck,
And promoters,
oh my God,
which one?
Dorfman.
Yeah,
like,
he was my neighbor. He was my neighbor.
And fucking Dorfman is like, and like all of a sudden he shows up, and I'm like. And he showed up to 11 one night, and I just freaked the fuck. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, he was like, you were one of the doors. He was there too.
He was on Thursday nights. Yeah. He worked for Kobe and Doug.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's amazing seeing these people down here, or Mark Caesar's down here.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's doing big things, man. He stayed in the industry, and it's so funny because promoters, it was like a clique. It was the cool kids club because. Yeah. even some of the stories I tell people these days of like shit that used to go down with celebrities, like people like don't like. They're like, how are you around so many celebrities? I was like, listen, it was such a small town.
Yeah.
There was maybe 5, 6 different real promoter groups, and after hours was always at my house.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, yeah, you know, a couple of Backstreet Boys got laid in my apartment, so in my after hours, everybody knew that my house was just after hours, and you know, the card games and everything that would go till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you know, people losing rents to us, and you know, the celebrities. We won't say what band or, you know, someone who came to my after hours really late at night, you know, party their ass off, couldn't sing the national anthem the next day at Fenway Park, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, if I was a sports bettor, which I'm not, the amount of times that I could have bet knowing that these athletes that were out the night before got absolutely shited, and then
every Bruin, every Patriot,
but even the other teams,
every Red Sox,
the other teams that come in there, I know that like, hey, we're gonna fucking win tomorrow. He got absolutely fucking blackout.
Pitchers for the Yankees, we won't name who, but like,
but it's funny that I always sat there and I was like, you know what, if I know that I have a year to live, I'm gonna fucking write a book called like Behind the Velvet Ropes of like the true stories of like fucking celebrities that like Marvel celebrities and you know that stuff that went on. I mean, not Chris Evans. I won't ever.
No,
give up.
we love you, Chris.
Great. I love you, buddy.
Captain America.
Never gonna sell it a Boston guy.
We'll never sell you out.
Never sell a Boston guys.
But you know, speaking of, okay, so I'm gonna have to put you on the spot right now. So you made national news one time. I remember when you happened to 8-6 a girl online, and this is like pre-apps, pre-Twitter, all that, because she may or may have not have taken some pictures with a football player that we all love, Julian Edelman.
And she posted, she wrote, I fucked Julian Edelman, no lie. And it was so disrespectful.
I remember because listen, people come to you to kind of like, hey,
in a minute they don't want to like they want to be anonymous. And I mean, listen, that night he was fucking blackout.
Right.
So I mean, you know, and again, I'm not trying. Listen, I got nothing wrong with her or whatever else, but it was like if a guy ever did that. Like, think about the roles reversed.
Right.
If we as men ever sit there and like post like I fucked so and so, no lie, and ruined her reputation. I mean, it's fucked up.
Right.
And so,
I remember just even seeing that in the Herald
dude,
the next day.
It was in fucking
the Boston Globe.
It was in BBC News.
Right.
I went like international. I don't know why. Just because and the worst thing about
because I think every doorman was just like everybody was. I remember everybody was applauding. Everybody was. Every promoter, everything was.
It was like, you know, I look at stuff that goes viral, and this was like probably the first year or second year that Facebook was like out.
Right.
And that thing got shared like 10,000 times. It was super fucking viral, and the worst thing about it though is I started getting female because they saying that I slut shamed her.
Oh, come on.
So I mean, and now that would even be worse, like the female groups. But I had all these female groups like calling me and trying to like, you know, close down certain nights and stuff. They really were trying to go against me.
Well, listen, slut shaming is one thing. Asking somebody not to come back because they broke kind of the confidentiality of and trying to ruin your. That's what you do for a living, man. So if somebody comes after you for, you know, discrepancy, like, you know, that's why your VIPs used to come to you. They knew that with you, there was discrepancy. Nobody's going to bother them.
You know,
people aren't going to ask for pictures and autographs.
You know, it's like, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. You know, you keep your fucking mouth shut.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, you could have, you know, a guy, and I hate to say it, you have a guy that comes in one night with his wife.
Right.
The next night he's with his Gomorrah. He has his side piece. You never let them know anything.
Right.
It's none of your fucking business.
Right.
You're in this business to host them. What they do in their own personal life is none of your fucking business and shouldn't be anybody else's business.
Right.
You know, you're in this to make sure that they're having a good time. And, you know, and there's been times that guys will call me and be like, dude, I'm coming in with my wife tonight. I've never been to your fucking club. Hey, nice to meet you, John.
Right.
How are you? Thank you. I'd be glad to take care of you.
Right.
Thank you. You're fucking the best, dude. You got to be prepared. You know, again, we're in the business of taking, it's hospitality. So you have, I mean, anything that other people do, it's none of their business.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, it's like you can't pledge just one side, whether they're Republican or Democrat, or whether you're a Hell's Angel or an outlaw, whether you're, you like the Patriots, you like the Jets or the Seahawks. You're in this to take care of people, and whatever they think about outside is none of your fucking business.
Right.
It's just we're in it to just make sure they're having a good fucking time.
A lot of you know me from my F&B Miami page, but what you might not know is that I also run Florida's largest restaurant real estate brokerage called F&B Hospitality. Every week I meet somebody that thought that they could just wing it on a restaurant lease. And every week on F&B Miami, you guys see how that turns out. And that is exactly why I started F&B Hospitality Brokerage. We treat our clients' money like it's our money. We don't say things just to say it or paint pretty little pictures. We go based on facts and numbers. If we don't like a deal, location, or permit status, we are absolutely not afraid to tell you. It's about setting you up to last. So you could focus on food and foodies while we negotiate the build out and the terms.
What was that transition into becoming a promoter? Because you know what? You are one of the few people that I know that didn't do the big group. You kind of went solo. You went lone wolf style. Which is harder to do because more pressure, more responsibility, more work is on you.
And I started becoming the guy that would do destination places.
Right.
It wasn't the like, hey,
theater
let me go
district
theater
versus
district. Like I would do lounges. I would grab, whether it was Trio to or District or Splash or Whiskey Park or Saint. I was going for these places that were off the beaten path.
Right.
Because I knew that, like, hey, I can easily fill this place with 350 to 400 people, and then the other 200 to 300 people that can't get in, I was able to give that fucking you remember the fucking door at Saint?
Of course.
It was insane. We couldn't let anybody in.
Of course.
So it was that.
People were trying to sneak in through every possible
back doors or whatever
right.
else, and I would catch them. I'm like, dude, why you bring these fucking people to the back door on my night?
Right.
And it's
because we remember what the fire marshals were like.
Oh yeah, and that's crazy, man. They're all ABC fire marshals. Massachusetts is such a hard city to do anything because they have so many fucking agencies that are trying.
And I heard it's even harder now.
Even harder, yeah. It's even harder, and it's I'm grateful that I've kind of separated myself from. I love Boston,
right?
But I would never choose to open up anything in there again.
Right.
They're so against businesses and really supporting the small business. Like, they make it so fucking hard to run a restaurant or a club there.
Well, I remember, 96, 97, they were still pretty lenient because we had the 19 plus. Because listen, it's a college town.
Yeah.
Not everybody's 21 plus. Yeah. So they kind of made it easier for the 19 plus kids to, okay, you guys can go, you just can't drink. Whether or not
I don't know. It's like the only city I know out there that's you have a fire capacity,
right?
And then you have a entertainment capacity.
Right.
One could say 800, the other one says 1,200. Which fucking one do you? So if the fire marshal comes in there and they see you have 12, or the entertainment board comes in there, they're both separate governing things. They don't work fucking together.
Right.
It's amazing to me how fucked up the system is in Boston. It really is.
And then on top of that, you still had to worry about competing promoters pulling fire alarms in your fucking club, throwing stink bombs.
Dude,
stink bombs were big.
And just for the record, I never did any of that bullshit. Listen, my only competition that I always, and still to this day, is myself.
Right.
I always try to outdo myself. I didn't listen, and dude, and that's the one thing I loved about Ace and those guys, is that it got to the point, dude, if they don't want to come to my night, I'm sending them to Aces.
Right.
I'm like, Ace, I got these people for you, or vice versa.
Right.
Hey, can you take care of these people that are coming over there?
You know what's really interesting is that people always thought that all the competing promoters hated each other, when in reality, Ace and those guys, they had 30 sub promoters. I remember at one time he had more sub promoters than I could count. And I was the enemy because I think they did Karma and I was doing Joy Thursday. But then when they came over, I think I happened to be at Ace's house for a meeting, and me and Ace are sitting there playing fucking PlayStation. They're like, what is he doing there? I think that's really a big misconception, that we were all friends. We
were all friends.
Maybe people didn't all love each other, but everybody respected each other.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't. I don't think it was more of the cutthroat until the younger ones under us started coming in,
right?
And then they were the ones that were trying to cut corners or really do these underage parties and stuff like that. That would give us a fucking really bad name,
right?
And then things even changed more when they had that fire in Rhode Island.
Right.
You know, because
that's when they came up with the real rules.
Real rules, yeah. They had that bar fire that killed like hundreds. White Snake was playing or something.
Right.
And it really, not just us, I think all in New England, it really changed fire codes. And
they became, I remember especially that year, we all had issues. Like they were in there every night.
I think they had to shut down Il Planino because of their stairways was too small.
Right.
And they could, until they could get it engineered correctly, they couldn't open up.
Right.
There's it was just a really, really different time. But I mean,
but you know what was great? You know, me and all the other promoters, what I loved about promoting back in the day, especially in a town like Boston, a college town, that if you are doing well, everybody's going to hear about it the following semester. And if you're not doing well, you know what? Close down, rebrand, and start again.
Yeah.
There was so many opportunities. We were so excited. I mean, listen, we always had problems with owners, you know?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure promoters today have. You know, I remember once upon a time it was, oh, if you're going to this owner, you're blacklisted from my place here. But then the minute that guy fucks you, people keep running back and forth, you know, from owner to owner because they didn't have a choice. They didn't have the money to open up their own place. I remember I was in the middle of negotiating of buying a nightclub in Kenmore Square. And, you know, I already wanted to hire Theo and like I already had my guys. We already had plans. I spent a lot of money. And then I remember somebody, won't mention names, came from Lansdowne Street and is like, yeah, you're not going to open. And I'm like, what do you mean? Fuck you. Of course I'm going to open. Fuck you guys, you know? And someone had called BU and pretty much the fix was in where BU is like, you can spend as much money as you want. You're never going to open, you know? How many times have you seen shit like that?
Always. I've seen it tons and tons of times.
Where like promoters were working on getting
like
own place.
Yeah, they wanted to try to hold you back from growing. Right. And I'm grateful that I had some crazy shit happen.
Right.
I did. Again, I'm not like I have stuff that I that really fucked me up for like mentally. I got screwed so fucking bad in the industry. I literally got embezzled.
Right.
I got embezzled by some serious fucking people. You know, as tough as you think you are, some people have some more power. Right. And I got involved. I gave up my whole promotion business to help other people. Right. Grow their brand, and then they had me like a fucking slave, and I couldn't move from it.
And promoting is the kind of business that the minute you step out, you're history.
Yeah, and I had to step away for a little while, and then I decided I quit the business for like 3-4 months. Right. And I stepped away, and then all of a sudden, the first night I decided to go out, a car drives by, and Charlie Larner is in this car, and he's like, "Where the fuck you been, Winter?" And he goes, "Do you want to open up a business together?" And here I was depressed. I said I was done with fucking nightlife. You know, I didn't know what I was going to do. I went back. I got another degree at Northeastern, and I was going to get into facility engineering, and I got that
Northeastern,
degree.
The greatest school of all time. We're all graduates. Go Huskies.
And that's when Charlie was like, "Let's open up a club." And we got I'll never forget, it was like 16 years ago, we were out looking at all these venues to open up something. And then finally, we got the opportunity from Tom Kershaw, who started Cheers. Right. And Tom Kershaw is
legend, by the way. He was the head of the Restaurant Association.
Yeah, he owned Bullfinch's, the original Cheers. Yep. And he had so in Faneuil Hall, Tom Kershaw had Cheers, and on the other side, he had a mirroring of Cheers, was called Sam Malone's Cafe. Right. And so he's like, guys, I can get you in, to get in front of, again.
By the way, this is Faneuil Hall. There was no, guys, it's not like Miami where like you want to open up a nightclub, you could open it up anywhere. Boston, you had a certain amount of bars and restaurants, and that's it. That's all you got. Yeah. There's nothing new.
And, Faneuil Hall at the time was the 4th biggest tourist attraction in the country. Yep. 17 million people would walk through those cobblestone areas. It's such a famous area. So we had to not only get approved by the city because they owned the property, we also had to go through the Merchandise Association. So it was like a twofold thing to allow Tom to actually sell us the business. Right. and we went all in, and we, at the time, like, we didn't truly know we were going to open. It was just, hey, growing trends, tequila bar. So like, let's open up a fucking Mexican restaurant, tequila bar.
When I heard about Mija and you going in, I was like, what? Wait, hold on, what?
Yeah.
But you took something that you didn't really have experience in.
None.
And you're like, fuck it, and you just made it work,
Yeah, and it was, we were doing Fridays. It was weird because Friday and Saturday nights we'd bring a DJ in there. We were doing the whole supper club type thing that, for a long time, charging admission to get into my restaurant. It's like...
honestly, I think the best part of Mija, was every Cinco de Mayo just to see what you were going to be wearing.
Oh, it's crazy. And it's like, I got to give big ups to my partner, Charlie Larner.
Yep.
Because he has absolutely changed the face of the Seaport and gone up and beyond with coming up with different things, and him bringing that tall ship into Boston.
Yep.
I've never, it's on a 40,000 square foot pier, and then having that and making it like more like almost like what we had coming up was like Waterworks or Ocean Club, which I helped put together.
Sunday nights, Night Water Club.
So when I was when they did Ocean Club, I helped put that together with a couple of the guys, and that was amazing. But Charlie, now it's like, for the winter, he put an ice skating rink in the middle of the pier on the East Coast, changed the face of East Boston.
Right.
And then, he has like 8 other restaurants, but I didn't want to go that route. I just, he went on his journey, and I was like, I was like, oh, I'm going to, partner up and open up something in Hong Kong. Right. And I was, we tried to do a nightclub in Hong Kong, and then the pandemic hit, and I...
Was it just because, like, I think once you hit a certain age in Boston, it's like you got to stop. Like you hit the limit. I knew when I think I was 29, maybe 30, when I was like, okay, I think I'm one of the oldest people in the city, and I knew what my ceiling was there, and unless you open something, like that's it. We have many friends that just
and I don't, like, trust me when I say, like, I don't even know how I'm still doing it, and how Ace is still doing it, but it's like, it's when it comes down to it, it's like, it's what and I think that a lot of these younger up and coming guys in marketing, it's like they don't have we have this inbred hustle in us, and you've taken it on to become amazing in real estate, and you use that same hustle that gives you the edge over a lot of other people in this, again, dude, you were the fucking original DoorDash. I mean, people don't understand, like, like, nobody even thought about doing these deliveries, and you were Night Owl Deliveries, right? Correct?
It was correct.
Yeah.
I came home after one of our nights at Saint.
Yeah. High
on the couch, and I just wanted a fucking Snapple, and nobody wanted to bring a Snapple. Then the next day, it was me, Nathaniel, and Bart. Bart, shout out to Bart, our boy, one of my very close friends of all time. They were just like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Because back then we had nothing to lose.
Yeah, I can't even fucking believe that if you were 5 years later, that you would be Uber Eats, you would be DoorDash.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we helped the Grub. I mean, we went out for Grubhub. We went to Chicago and launched their delivery, and that was the most exciting. I think that was one of the things I loved about Boston.
Dude, you were always such an innovator. Whether it was your own. Would you have a whiskey brand or
Scotch?
Scotch brand. Like, I mean, you were always, and again, like, you were also like, fucking pictures with Bono, and I just remember, like, you always had these. Like, I'd be like, okay, well, I got pictures with The Rock and this and that, and I hosted them in New York City, and I'm like, or Chris Helmsworth or whoever else, and like, you would have like fucking the most, like, how the fuck did you meet some of these people?
Well, listen, with Bono, that one is a shout out to our boy John Mansfield.
Yeah.
He called me, and they were coming to Radius. He's like, these motherfuckers are coming to have dinner at Radius. Get your ass. I was like, bro, 5 minutes, I'll be there.
That's amazing.
But you know what? I think it was just, we were around so many great people. We were around so many great innovators. Some that aren't with us anymore. Some, moved away, lost touch. But, I do want to, like, give shout out just a couple of people, man, from back in the day. Like Christoph, who's obviously still here, you know, Manos, who's one of my original mentors in the business, you know, guys like Scott Shepard and Nikki Blue, and, you know, guys who
John Matthews.
Oh my God, I love John Matthews.
I love John
He
Matthews.
was fucking wild, you know?
Dude, the fucking just, the bull.
He was great.
Dude, I fought next to John Matthews. Like, I mean, he's great. Had his back, Pete Ninja. Like some of these guys that you just know the brotherhood, and it's like I've never experienced again the you know, that's gonna say, you know, recently my mom passed,
Right.
as
Sorry
you know,
about that.
and
yeah, of course.
you know, I didn't have any childhood friends show up. It was weird. Like maybe some people, like a couple I saw in the back,
Right.
But the craziest thing was that Ace,
I saw the 617
Ace,
boys
Frankie,
in the pictures. Yeah.
John Matthews,
Yep.
Zolt, the brotherhood
Zolt,
from like
yep.
the Lansdowne brotherhood showed up.
Right.
These brothers that, you know, we knew, like that's who came to be right by my side.
Right.
You know, when I lost my mom.
Right.
And it's just
because it was that way. It was that brotherhood. It was that Lansdowne brotherhood.
Man.
Right.
It's just like I fucking love those guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of the times you sit there and you're like, does this person, you know, does he have an ulterior motive?
Right.
Can I really trust this person?
Right.
And like I can say those motherfuckers fought. If there was a fight, they were right by my side.
Right.
You know, there's times in Vegas, Ace got into something, and I fucking yoked the guy right over a couch.
Right.
Like we know that these guys are gonna go to war,
Right.
no matter what,
Right.
and they truly have your fucking back.
Look, as a business owner, I'll be real with you. Running my brokerage takes all my time. And in Miami, if you're not showing up online or on social media, you just don't exist. That's why I've worked with Sage Marketing Studios from the very beginning. Website, social, even this podcast. They're the ones behind the camera. Building strategy, keeping it consistent, and making sure my brand looks like it actually belongs in the city. So just a tip. Stop having your cousin post blurry iPhone pics once every 3 months. Hit up Sage Marketing Studios. You can find them on Instagram at socialmedia.sage and tell them Felix sent you.
You know who's one of those people that always had my back? And well, there was one time I remember me and you. I got into a situation at the Modern, and I remember there was like two guys, and I was ready for whatever. But I remember seeing you roll in the back. And you roll up on these guys, and you're like, "Yeah, guys, you're gonna have to leave. Sorry, blah blah blah." And then you whisper to me, like, "You want to go have some fun? Let's fuck these fucking guys up. Like, let's take them in the fucking alley."
Yeah.
And you know, I was like, that was the first time I was like, because you were still. This was like way back when. I was like, that's when I first was like, wow, Winter's the coolest motherfucker like on earth. Like, not just like in, you know, because you have a lot of acquaintances in the business, but that was like the first time like he's a friend, you know. And I'm sure that that's in our business. There's so much fakeness, and there's so many, you know, people that either pretend to be your friend that have alternative, you know, so they get in or whatever it is. But then we actually did have a band of brothers that till this day we're all friends. Yeah. You know, another guy for me that always had my back in fights. Bruno Dreads.
Yeah.
Bruno,
and also,
he'll start fucking capoeira drop kicking motherfuckers.
I know, it's crazy.
Like,
Absolutely. Bruno's a great guy, and also Vlad.
Yeah, Vlad, he's down here. Vlad's great. Yeah.
Vlad comes down, and dude, he was amazing person. I'm very proud of him.
Bart, I always knew Bart will fuck shit up. You know, like looking at him, you don't think much, and then he just busts out the fucking kung fu.
Because I mean, dude, again, we're known. Boston is known for fighting.
Right.
I mean, we would have to fight. You have to fight. Like that's what it was. It's like we are fucking assholes with the biggest hearts.
I remember whenever I would fight at Aria, whenever I would get into fights at Aria, there's one person that I would fucking look for. No, Yanni, if you want, the fucking guy who will break a fucking glass bottle and stab you with it. But
Eloy?
Sean Gannon.
Oh, wow. Dude, Gannon's a great, what a great guy that he
was.
He
passed. I mean, first fucking guy to beat Kimbo Slice in the street fight. And but he was always one of the first guys. Eloy would just fucking crush your head, bro.
Yeah, but Gannon, you know, even though he was a police officer, he didn't give a fuck.
He did not give a fuck.
And that's that's where cell phone cameras ruined everything.
Right.
Because back then, Boston Police and us,
right,
it was three folds that we had: Boston Police, us, and then FSU.
Right.
So if you ever watch Gangland, FSU was like those guys. They would have our back. There would be 20 kids sitting on the street, and if somebody fucked with us, we'd be like, and kid would walk down the street and they get their fucking asses kicked
Right.
by FSU.
Right.
I mean, that crew is like 200,000 strong in U.S. It's actually on gangland.
Right. And also with those guys, it's like, as long as you're respectful and,
Yeah,
you know,
man, we treat them great. I mean, they would run the Boston hardcore scene, which is like, they would do all the shows. We let them do what they had to do, and they would
Right.
let us do what we had to do. We had a great brotherhood between them.
who was the one door guy you would never fuck with? Like, that would just take anybody out? In your opinion, who was the toughest of the tough?
Dude, you know, it wasn't, I can't think of just one because it was never one. Like, it was never one. I never thought about it because I knew if I was going to be that guy that would fucking superfly Jimmy Snuka off of a cage I would never have to be scared because I always knew there was going to be 3 guys there in a fucking second to get there. There was never one because that's what the term brotherhood.
Right. Well, Craig was a tough fucker too.
Yeah, but he was the most docile, loving, gentle giant, and who knew how to talk people out of shit.
Right.
He didn't have to fucking fight. He was just a fucking monster.
Like Manos, like Big Manos.
Yeah,
so.
just a big like again. It's not about who was the toughest. We were toughest in numbers.
Right.
And that's the thing is that people didn't realize if there was a street brawl with 100 people, well, guess what? We had 100 fucking security guards coming from 12 clubs, and we were even connected to the Jillian guys.
Right.
Like Mike
Kevin Troy guys, right?
Yeah, Mike Knockman and those guys would be over there. If they needed help, we'd be over there in a second
Right.
to go run over and support them. And that's
I remember like Phil, Phil from the door. He would always like keep
oh
his
my
cool.
God,
Like,
Phil Clark.
Phil Clark would always
Dude,
keep. But like I knew he could box.
Dude,
Like,
and that's the thing is, I remember one of the worst things. And I know you bring up fighting stories,
Yep.
but
Bro, this is what we're here for, bro.
One of the worst things that I remember is that they would at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, they would pull the door shut.
Right.
And when the door shut at Avalon, you can't get in unless somebody lets you in. So Phil Clark and I are the only 2 people on the street now outside talking. He had a problem with this Asian gang earlier.
Right.
So next thing you know, him and I are out there, just the 2 of us. And we see 12 fucking, this Asian gang, I don't know, they had scorpion on their neck. They all ran and they just, next thing you know, it's like, I'm like, Phil, they're running towards us. They're grabbing stanchions. And, you know, Phil's like fucking, and he was older than us at the time. And he's just, I mean, him and I are just fighting all these kids off. And it was just him and I against all these people. Nobody came out to help us.
Right.
And he's laying out, like he must have laid out 7 kids, and I'm like fighting the other ones. And I remember I got cut. And I just remember it because like finally everybody came outside and they had the kid that cut me, and I looked at him and I go, you cut my eye. And I go, let's fight 1-on-1 right now. And then I just fucking kneed him and knocked his teeth out.
Right.
It was, again, it's not war story. Like everybody surrounded, and like I was so mad that he cut me.
Right.
But I mean, it was crazy. Like the shit like that happened. Like,
But you know what? Like those, like the Asian crews back then, like they had a crew. They had a crew. I mean, I remember one time at Pravda, me and Bart booked an Asian party for like a Thanksgiving Eve thing, and there was a couple of high-ranking members of the Asian community that we were doing with. And I remember I get a call from Kevin Troy. He's like, get your fucking ass down here right now. This is before the party. And he was like, one of the guys that you were with, the gangland officer came here and he's like, that's who's doing the party with you? Like, no, you better fucking talk to your boy.
Is he the one that's just getting out of jail right now or just got out of jail?
He just may have
Didn't he write a book?
I don't know that.
Yeah. Was he the white kid that spoke like...
No. He was Asian. He was always super.
There was I think they're gonna make a movie about him. He did write a book, I believe, but he just recently got out of jail and he ran Chinatown and he spoke I think Vietnamese and Cantonese.
That's right.
And I'm glad he's out. He was out. Always respect. Again, you're respectful to them. They're gonna like if something breaks out, they'll actually stop it out of respect to you.
Spend too much time in sleepaway camp.
Yeah,
he was away on vacation for a while. At the farm.
Long time.
Right,
a long time.
But you know what? It was also exciting, and we get into those kind of stories, and then your boy who wrote the books or that made movies on 21 and Facebook, because we lived during that whole time. Like we were partying. Like we had people from the actual 21 crews like come hang out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was like, and ended up, you know, I remember like when Kevin Spacey came in there, and
That's right.
Emilio. I mean, again, I love you, Emilio, and I never forget this. Emilio Moro, who's actually produces and writes movies and stuff now. He was
Ben used to come to you all the time.
Ben Mesrick. Yeah, so I mean,
yeah.
Ben is a very successful book writer.
Right.
I mean, he's wrote some amazing movies. And we'd always take care of him, and he would bring all of his cast in there. And I never forget that they ate upstairs. They came downstairs, and you know, Kevin was really nice to me.
Yep.
And then I was like, "Hey, Kevin, I want to, you know, introduce you to Emilio." And Emilio was like, "Hey, how are you?" And all of a sudden, he just shows up. He goes, "Get the fuck away from me," to Emilio, like, we're taking care of you.
Right.
You know, he was nice to me, and also he just turns to a fucking fan and was an absolute asshole to him. And I'm like, dude, that's fucked up, dude.
Wow.
And again, like, you know, just seeing stuff like that when people are showing their true colors. I mean, it's you know, like, why, you know, you treat me one way because I'm taking care of you, to treat an actual fan a different way. Man, you know, and then you start seeing the shit that comes out. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's you.
Yeah.
You know, that's the person that you are.
But you know what? You always, you know, because obviously people were fanboys or of some of these people, and you were one of the only ones that would let some of these people that normally would never get a chance to meet like their heroes or like celebrity crushes or whatever it is. You were the closest thing to like get to those people. I got to thank you because you helped me out also, and you wound up helping me, you know, score points with the women that would one day be my wife. I remember with Kendra was doing the house. What was the show? The Playboy show.
Oh, yeah.
Girls Next Door.
Yeah.
And you know, I just started dating my girlfriend, Caitlin, at the time, and you know, that was her favorite show, and she loved Kendra. And I was saying something, and you know, you kind of just like. You know, you got us like next to her, and like she was hanging out with her, and like you scored a lot of points for me. So thank you for that.
No,
you know?
bro, I love you guys. You know what I mean?
Right. But okay, so now at what point did you now you have the restaurant? At what point is it like the same old song, or you knew something had to change?
Remember, I started dating one of Caitlin's friend, Tracy.
Yeah.
Shit, okay. So I was doing a long distance relationship in Hong Kong, and it's like I had my restaurants going, and you know, I always, you know, I have obviously severe fucking ADHD,
right.
And I don't think ADHD as being something that's a negative.
Absolutely.
I think it's, you're creative in things that you want to be creative in, like whether it was music or other things. And I always was into innovating and think of outside of the box ideas. And, you know, so through going to Hong Kong, I met this gentleman out there, and we had a night out. And then one of these things, I was sitting there, and it's like I was watching, you know, he had in some in-ear headphones, and I looked at him, and I'm like, and I was watching MTV, and I smoked weed. You know, I don't drink, but I just smoked.
Well, you never drank.
I quit drinking when I was 22 years old.
I missed having fun with you.
Yeah, I was a maniac.
Yep.
But, you know, it's like I saw MTV, you know, and then I just read an article that Beats by Dre did like some, you know, came out and fucking was
sold like $1 billion.
He's $1 billion. And I'm like, you know, is there space? And I'm like sitting there, he's seeing his headphones, and he's like, oh, I had these made at this fucking factory in Shenzhen and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm watching MTV, and I go, why does MTV not have headphones? I saw it.
Right.
Envisioned it. And it was one of those things, I'm like, I can execute this. And, you know, whether it was, so right away, I go into the Twitter office, I'm talking to Wayne about it, and I'm like, can you advise? And he's like, yeah. So then the day after that, I was like, I call up Sully Erna, one of my best friends. Lead singer Godsmack. Like literally one of my best friends. I love you, Sully. And he's like, oh, I know Jerry Harvey, who creates all the in-ears for like Bono and for everybody. He's the #1 in-ear like engineer. And then my partner at the time, Nathan, he was like, I know Sebastian, blah, 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 who's the lead designer for Mercedes. Right. And it was, next thing you know, it's like Sully's like, oh my God, I know Sherry Redstone or whatever, the owner of like
Redstone, yep.
Owner of Viacom.
Yep.
And dude, next thing you know, within 2 weeks, I'm in fucking New York City with the CEO of MTV. I'm in there with the CEO of BET, the CEO of MTV. We're at a fucking board meeting and we're discussing licensing.
Right.
And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like within 2 weeks, I was able to execute through networks, like a perfect storm to like come up with my own brand of headphones. And so, with the help of Henry Moo,
Shout out to Henry.
Henry, I love you, buddy.
He was a light fixture at
so
all my after-hour
Henry
parties.
came in the project, and he came in full force, and he helped, drive it, and he also invested heavy, and he became a great partner with it. And we sponsored the EMA. We launched the EMA Awards in Rotterdam. Like we had things signed up all over the we had orders all over the world, and then unfortunately, things fell apart because unfortunately we put all the trust into our CEO, and he went rogue, and he was like, I don't give a shit. He was taking money from our company and funding his other company and doing weird shit, and we asked him to just clean it up. Instead of cleaning up, he went rogue, and unfortunately we started a lawsuit, and then MTV being this, or Viacom being a big entity, they're like, we want nothing to do with this,
we don't
guys.
want drama.
So we're stepping back.
Right.
So then here we are with like $6 million worth of products that we couldn't sell, and it was like the biggest thing that I ever did, and then it just fell apart. And it didn't. Again, we had everything. I mean, we had Best Buy, we had Walmart. Everybody was ready and they were like, we were ready for national expansion, and we were set up, on every site, Amazon, this and that, to go, and then we just couldn't fucking sell our products because
we speak about this all the time. Obviously you partnered with, you took a partner after being a lone wolf. You took a partner in Miha. You took a partner in the headphone company. Mm-hmm. How, in your opinion, how important is the people that you pick as partners? I mean,
again, it's like this. It's like, listen, I always thought I had amazing, I thought I always had amazing eyes at being able to see through bullshit, and I generally did, but you never know. People can be one way, but once in a while they can change once they get a little ego. And where my partner at that time, like he was amazing, gave me the shirt off his back. In Hong Kong I had an issue. I got robbed in Malaysia. They stole all my money, I had nothing, no credit cards, took everything, and this guy literally rented a hotel room for me, gave me money, and I didn't know anybody and I couldn't go stay with Tracy because they were old school Asian. I can't have a guy stay at the house. Right. So he stepped up for me. So I thought this guy would be like amazing, shirt off the back type of a guy. But he literally, once he became the CEO of Evos, my headphone company, because I didn't have faith in him. Listen, I know my parameters. I don't want to be the fucking CEO. My shit is being able to connect A and B. I'm able to connect, raise money for this, do this, get all the people in the part of the team. I don't want to be a fucking CEO. That's not my forte. I want to just grow the company and figure out ways to market the company. Right. So that wasn't my part of it. So, he literally thought he was the fucking CEO of MTV. Right. His head got like fucking huge, thought that he was running shit. I mean, when we had our after the EMA party, he was like, I'm the fucking, because they wouldn't let him bring in extra people to this, to our VIP area. And he's like, he was going fucking ballistic. Like, he's like, I'm fucking CEO of, he literally was telling people he was like the CEO of MTV. Sometimes people change after they get a certain amount of power, and they weren't that person at the beginning. So it's not that I chose the wrong person. He became the wrong person.
Do you think that we've seen a lot of that in general?
Yes, we have. It happens to a lot of people. It's very rare that people, I think it's rare. I think it's more rare that people don't change. I mean, there's certain people that always remain, like those people are like a diamond in the rough. Well,
I think one of the people that me and you could both attest to, there was a young gentleman that worked with us in the trenches and worked with you and was very close with you by the name of Adam. who made some moves. And
Yeah.
then I was very surprised when I ran into Adam in Miami.
Yeah.
And then one day,
Adam's my fucking best friend. I love you, buddy.
and one day I'm speaking to Adam and he tells me, yo, Winter might be coming to Miami. Could we talk about what brought you to Miami and how you are now changing the dynamic of nightlife culture here?
Yeah, so it was one of those things that I came down to. The Patriots were in the Super Bowl and they were doing a party in Atlanta in 11. And so I remember Rob Crisoli, Gino, Adam, they were throwing the party and they're like, dude, you're from Boston, help us with this party, bring people here. So Rob Crisoli, great friend of mine also, and then Gino Lopinto.
Yeah, I spoke to Gino. Gino, you owe me a podcast.
Yeah, So I went to this party, and then I already knew. Just funny thing, this quick story, dude.
Yep, go ahead.
So when Dennis DeGore, fucking the founder of 11, he is 11. When they were formulating the company, he was going to go explore New England to go check out a bunch of the strip clubs.
Right.
Up there, just to look at cabarets,
Right.
ideas, get ideas from New England, what goes on up there. So I get the call from Adam. He's like, dude, Gino's coming up there. He's like, can you please, show them around? So I took a night off. I borrowed Ryan Kelly's Sprinter.
Right.
Ryan, who's down here also.
Yep.
He's Ryan Kelly's, he's in the real estate game. So I took a Sprinter. I took a night off of work. I go and pick up Gino, and it's the first time that Gino is meeting Rob Crisoli and Zach, the two directors.
So this is history.
So
right
this
here.
is history. So, and then you got Dennis with them, and then they have the marketing director, Eddie Franco. So they're all in Boston, and we take the Sprinter. I've never driven something so big in my life. I'm driving this 20-person Sprinter. I'm driving them around.
Do you remember where you took it? It was like Foxy later.
Oh yeah, we went to Foxy's.
Right.
We went to I don't even know, Fantasies. We went to 8 or 9 different cabarets,
Right.
just to see what's going. I think we went to Golden Banana.
Wow.
I think we went to
maybe Glass Slipper too.
I think we did. I think we hit everywhere. We went all over, pretty much all over New England. And just took a night out, and it was and so it's funny that then things come full circle that I go to Atlanta, and then I'm sitting down next to Dennis, and Dennis puts his arm around me, and he goes, you're one of the best hosts that I've had, and you hosted me in Boston. He goes, when are you going to come down to Miami? And he goes, finish off your nightlife career with me. And that stuck in my head. So next thing you know, the pandemic hits.
Right.
Massachusetts, their fucking rules were worse than anywhere. They shut down longer than anybody.
Right.
And here I am, nightlife director of Royale, running one of the biggest clubs in Boston, restaurants. And here I am in my fucking house doing nothing. Can't go to the gym, can't do shit. And
you were hanging out with McLovin though.
Yeah. Well, but it was one of those things that stuck in my head.
Right.
And I'm hearing that Florida is still partly opened.
We were open for business.
And so, I'm sitting there, I started coming down to Florida. I'm like, I don't want to stay in Boston anymore. I never thought that I would leave.
How hard did Adam pitch you?
No, but they didn't even say that I could have the job yet.
Right.
They said, it was that Dennis, that thing in my head that Dennis said, whenever you're ready, come down. And so, at the time, it's I was upside down in my house. I owed $1 million in back rent just for Miha. They didn't give a fuck. They were like, we had to pay, we're paying up the ass.
There was no COVID clause.
Yeah, there were,
Right.
Everybody was in. So I literally was I'm selling my fucking house. I'm going to go bankrupt.
Right.
So I sold my house. I figured out you know what? If I sell my house, I can take my equity. I called up Felix. I'm like, dude, I'm going to buy a fucking house. I'm going to buy something. And I tried getting this place in 3 different times because I couldn't find I wanted a townhouse, but I didn't want a dinky townhouse. I found a place that was 2,500 square feet,
Right.
unheard of
Right.
townhouse. And it was on a golf course. I didn't want to be in a building because I think it's cruel to have fucking dogs and take them down an elevator 19 floors just to go pee or
Right.
shit,
Right.
So, that stuck in my head. So I saw the path. I knew that was what I was going to do, but it wasn't set in stone. And then then they were having their first casting call, but Gino's like, you're going to be on. Adam's like, you're going to be on. But he's like, we still need to have you go through the process.
Really? I would think that.
Yeah. So I went to the casting call,
right?
And they didn't tell anybody.
Right.
They didn't tell anybody that they knew me, that I was best friend. Right. So it was funny.
You and Adam are like brothers. Like,
yeah. It's funny because I think Rob was actually not even at that casting call, because Rob, they would have laughed. I mean, if they knew that I came in there, but Rob said he did know.
Right.
So they put me through to the other guy. So the first guy, I went and I sat down with the Viking. I don't know if you've ever seen like Joe the Viking, and he sits down there and he looks at my resume and goes, the fuck do you want to be a host here for?
Right.
Like, you could run this club. Like, I mean, look at your resume. You own places. And I'm like, dude, I haven't worked in, here it was, I put on like 50 fucking pounds because all I did was eat. I was like, I couldn't go to the gym, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. I just want to fucking, dude, I'm a workhorse. I don't give a shit if I gotta do anything. Like whatever you guys want me to do, I'll do. I just want to work. And so he sits there and he's like, wow, well, he's like, this is great. Like, there's all these people interviewing, and he goes like, I want you to come meet somebody. And I'm like, okay. He brings me over to Gino and Adam. They just start fucking crying loud. He's like, what? He's like, he's our best friend.
We need to make sure that you like him.
So he's like, wanted to make sure that you guys liked him. And he's like, you fucking asshole. Then also I go to the next interview, and he's like, well, they already know who you are, dude. You're hired. Right. It was one of those things. So they brought me in, and
but you also listen. You didn't get the special treatment. Like you have to
not
pay
at
your
all.
dues.
I went. I wanted to make sure. Yeah, and it's like, I had to pay my dues, and it was like, it was tough because again I was dealing with some, going in there was some, different egos and stuff like that.
I guess that was my next question: is how was that on your ego? Because I mean, listen, you went from a city where you knew absolutely everyone, every entertainer, every celebrity, every owner, you wrote your own ticket.
Yeah.
To going to a place where, listen, it's also not an inky-dink club. It's not a small operation. And you are now kind of at the bottom of this monster.
And I don't have the networks. And there were people there that, like, door guys that have been doing it for 15 years and stuff like that. And I don't have I didn't think that I had the networks, but I did have the hustle. And, I came in there, like the first thing that I did, as I remember, is I came into there and they're like, oh, we're selling units in the towers that they're developing. And I came in there and no other regular host did it. I sold 2 penthouses and 2 units. I helped facilitate these, sale of that. And so I knew that there was something different, like again, that these, they don't, a lot of the guys weren't hustling the way that we were raised to hustle. Right. So I made sure that I the first, like when I knew that I was going to go there, I started going out. I was going out in Fort Lauderdale. I was following, everybody thought I was an undercover cop because I was going out before I jumped into 11. I wanted to make sure that I really want to do it. So I would follow Adam around the club, and everybody's like, who the fuck is this guy? Is he an undercover cop?
21 Jump Street?
Yeah. So they didn't know who I was, and it's funny, some of the managers were like, dude, I thought you were a cop. Right. Because you were with Adam, because Adam always was with cops. So I was going out, I was trying to get to know people, and then, I just did my hustle. Like I went in there.
How did it compare? Even from the beginning, like in terms of the difference between Boston nightlife and a monster like 11?
Well, I mean, it's listen, it is night and day. Like I literally went in there and got my ass handed to me. Like I never expected the caliber of like what 11 truly is. Like, I mean, in Boston, you start at 11 o'clock. Customers don't come in there till 12:30. You're fucking done by like 1:30. People are already getting ready to go home.
Right.
Like 11 is, we get these people that come in at 12. Right. They're there from 12 to 3:30.
Right.
Then you get the next crop that's coming in. They're coming in from Live or whatever else. Right. Like we can have 3 or 4 seatings. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Right. It was just in going in there to that after we're talking pandemic. Right. Canada shut down. We have everybody fucking coming down.
Crypto was insane.
Crypto's insane. It was, I never in my life, and again, like I don't think even they ever, experienced what we experienced when I came on. When I came on there, that was the probably craziest fucking 11 has ever, or any.
Well, listen, I remember back in the day, like when me and you work, like, we get a $5,000 table, like, oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And then you go from like a $5,000 table to a $100,000 table.
Dude, like $180,000 tables. Like, we'd have some, FTX guys coming in there, like at the time, like crazy fucking people that were just, spending crazy
almost
amounts.
Where you think it's a joke, like
or seeing like, on a crazy weekend, like, or when Ultra started like, back up, or Basel, that somebody sitting at a fucking high top table was 3 stools for like $5,000.
Right, and it's not like that's where they're ending the night. Like,
No.
I had Alan Roth on the show, so, people would go into Giselle and then, go into 11. Like, this is they're spending money throughout the night.
I mean, and it's, again, and listen, man, it's no secret of like Vegas is dying. It's no secret that even everybody has to adapt right now because, the younger generation is not drinking.
Right.
The numbers are out from all these alcohol companies that some of them are down 50%.
Yes.
That we are as humans, like we're more adapting to be more health conscious, and they're realizing that alcohol being is a depressant and not a stimulant.
Right.
I mean, are they doing other things? Yeah. As more people smoking weed and shit, absolutely.
Right.
Are more people just like we're in an age that people are wanting to live longer, whether they're doing peptides or this or that or anti-aging this, and they're starting to be more conscious, and they're adapting to try to do more alcohol-free drinks and stuff like that, and we're seeing a big transformation of that. And I mean,
you guys are getting a lot of mocktail people. Like
we're still getting the people drinking alcohol.
Of course.
But again, do I see it changing a little bit? Yeah, I do. Like, do I see that, some of the people are not spending the crazy money that they used to? Yeah, but every so often, there'll be just some fucking maniac that just comes in and doesn't give a shit.
Right.
And just spends.
So let me ask you a question. And, this is definitely something I want to ask Gino when he comes on. What do you think you guys are doing right? I mean, listen, aside from Vegas, we're seeing the big nightclubs decline and close, and almost like it's a death of the big nightclub.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing right that people just can't duplicate?
I think it comes into that whole welcome home culture.
Right.
I mean, we are the island of misfits. And I think that's what separates us. Like, there's a lot of egos at some of these bigger clubs that they just think like, hey, we can, or even the owners of some of the other bigger clubs, that they've been so egotistical and not helped develop their team and been so micromanaged that they didn't let their own people grow.
Right.
That I think that the whole culture of 11 from Dennis passing it down is that he lets his team grow, and you have great leadership that really, even to some of the junior hosts that are unfucking believable. Every one of them, in that team could go out there and be a general manager of a club. They put such a rigorous training through these people to make sure that their hospitality is second to none.
Do you feel that is why, because like you said, the band of misfits, do you feel that is why your merch sales are so fucking insane?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be part of that family.
Yeah, they want to be
team?
part. I mean, that's the thing, is that we are, dude, so many people show up to it's like when I've seen the casting calls that you'll see, there'll be like 3 jobs and there'll be like 1,000 people lined up. You think that space has like Solomon fucking playing,
right.
For people that want to get on the team or flying from the top clubs in the world to like come and be a part of this. It really is a culture. I mean, and what they've developed for that brand is unbelievable. It is a top 100 fashion brand. I mean, they have their own sound brand. I mean, they have their own vodka. And right. I mean, and now with the development of the towers that are going to be opening up, maybe the first one in the next 6 months. Yes. I mean, and then we're going to have, like the first like real, like in like ultimately like really good fucking pool club.
Right.
I mean, like
About time, you know?
Yeah, like, I mean, the 11, like, our pool club is going to be
I cannot wait for that.
unfucking real.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be like, you know, true Vegas style pool club.
Now, we spoke about celebrity stories in Boston. I remember, and again, I'm not calling anybody out, but I do remember one morning seeing Gronk walk into my building with a 11 T-shirt that was gifted to him that night. I guess he came in and like lost a shirt or something like that.
Oh, dude, he probably ripped it off. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like, and I mean, we sell. I mean, we have the ice shakers. Like, we have a part. Like, we sell the Gronkowski ice shakers. I mean, that's what we use it for our, you know, for our ice shakers.
Right.
I mean,
do you think that people just like lose their inhibitions when they're there? They're just in it and they're just having so much fun. That...
Yeah, and again, yeah. I mean, one of the things is like we don't allow people to video.
Right.
So I mean, again, people can take pictures, but we do allow it when we have.
It's weird with performers.
Yeah,
right?
with the circus, when we have the circus right. or the, you know, the Asian Mongolians that are spinning by their hair.
Right.
You know, it's like some of the craziest fun like Circus Soleil style acts. Like I mean, listen, you know. Every time, like I could be inside working a section, and I get mesmerized. I still to this day, it could be the same show I've seen for 5 years. I still watch it.
And you still have the greatest performers. I mean, listen, Rick Ross is hosting, or Lil Wayne, or
50 Cent,
Travis Scott,
50 Cent,
50's in there all the time.
All the time, yeah. And
now, do you find that that's what you guys are great at, just reinventing and staying with the trends?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like, you know, it's like, you know, like, listen, I mean, it's, you know, kudos to becoming, you know, again, I don't, being voted the #1 club in the United States, number 6 in the world.
Well, fucking.
I mean,
deserved.
it's like, you know, being recognized up there with clubs in Ibiza that are like, you know, some of these 30,000 fucking places, and we're in that top 10 with them.
Right.
I mean, because again, it's like, it is the perfect sauce that I don't even think they could fathom that it was going to be this. And just having our 12-year anniversary this weekend, like last weekend, we just hit 12 years.
That's amazing.
And
like yesterday, it feels like yesterday.
Yeah, and it's like, again, like, you know, from being like coming in as a guest to now being like an intricate part of the team. It's amazing. And like, again, it's like I really love the brand, and it's like you know, it's, you know, I'll even if like I'm doing a lot of other things on the side, whether it's you know, investing or me sitting there connecting A to B and being advisory boards to different companies. You know, Sean Christie told me this. He's like, don't ever leave the nightclub. He goes, it's the best place to meet people. And it does. Like, I've met so many things and help facilitate deals together, you know, where I put A to B together, and I'm like, yeah, I may not make money right now off it, but I'm invested in the company. So,
top 5 celebrities that you ever met, like where you are like personal favorite.
I mean,
that are just like salt of the earth.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, well, listen, it's like funny because it's like, you know, back then I'll never forget. It's like, even though like he's gotten a lot of shit, whatever, and I see him all the time now, and I tell him, and he doesn't even do. But when I was coming up, I remember Cuba Gooding Jr. took like 8 to 10 of us out for breakfast.
Well, he was a Bill's bar. He used to come into Bill's bar.
Yeah,
all
that's
the time.
why. Like, and it was just like when that, like me coming up, that was amazing.
Right. Also, I mean, listen, I remember it was Ace and Brandon that did the record release party for Eminem, Slim Shady. You know, his first album.
No, dude, dude, it's funny as I almost was gonna let him in because he had it on fucking Timberlands.
Oh my god.
So and they like when he came in, it's like, and I was working the door that night,
right.
So it's like funny that. You know, I never forget when Eminem came in. It was like he just like had the EP release.
Nobody knew who he
Shady.
was back then.
Nobody knew, but I actually heard this.
But you know what? He was super cool. We were hanging out with him all night.
Yeah, he was cool.
Really nice guy.
Yeah, he just released his EP for Slim Shady, and we had him.
He was on Dr. Dre's tour or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So Cuba Gooding Jr. is one.
Well, just because of the way he treated me, like that was the first time that like someone like I had someone actually like treat me nicely on like I mean, and again, Dwayne Johnson. I mean, that was probably when, you know, I hosted him in Boston. Then when he had the cameo in where he's jumping off the fucking building. Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, the other guys. So I got the call from Tanawai, and he's like, "Hey, Dwayne wants to go out in New York. Do you know anybody?" And I'm like, "Holy fuck!" And so I set him up with John Schwartz and I set up at Avenue with John Schwartz and what's it called? The Tao guys owned it.
Strauss,
Yeah.
So
They're like, it was like a Wednesday night, and next thing you know, I'm filming a segment on Chronicle.
Right.
So I just opened up Splash. I'm on the rooftop, and next thing you know, he's like, "Come down." I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, come to New York, bro." I got in my fucking car, and I drove 110, 120 miles an hour just to get down there to host him. And next thing you know, I'm like, I'm hosting Dwayne in New York City at Avenue, and everybody's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Right.
And I'm like, they rushed me in and get me right to the table, and that was a fun fucking night. They called me to set them up in New York City.
Right.
They can call anybody,
All right, so Rock's number 2. You think Chris gets number 3?
Chris
Evans?
Yeah, you know what, dude? Big shout.
He's big time now.
But he is. He's always. But the thing is that Chris opened the door to every time there was anybody he's filming with,
right,
he would then connect me to them, whether he connected me with Helmsworth. And
I remember that when Helmsworth, his brother came to visit.
But Chris would be like, it's funny because Chris wanted to go out, but out of respect to his wife, he wouldn't.
Right.
So when I remember he's like, "Can you come hang out with me?" So I remember Helmsworth was like, we ended up going to the Liberty Hotel. And so we did 2 nights in a row. So first he came into Alibi with me. And then the second night I took off from one of the clubs I was running to hang out with him. And we went up to the 3rd floor of Liberty and just sat at a table. And nobody knew that we were there. And he just wanted to just hang out and conversate.
Refresh my memory. When Chris was hanging around, he hadn't gotten Captain America yet.
No, he did. So no. When he just did.
When I first met him, he did.
So when he first came out, he just got that role on
Cellular,
but it was another teenage movie.
Not
or
another
something.
Teenage movie.
So he wasn't even big yet, and But I met him, and I met him through one of his childhood friends, Malcolm, he introduced us, and then. We just hit it off.
He was always a good, down to earth dude.
Great, and nobody would know because he'd keep it baseball. And people wouldn't. He'd be at the night, and they wouldn't even recognize it because they wouldn't. So
put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, so he definitely was somebody that opened up, a lot of, connections for celebrities, and I really appreciated our friendship over the many years. And the other one
it was number 4.
Well, I mean.
I know who you want to say. I think you got to say. Is it Chris?
Yeah, man. Because he's like family. I mean, dude, I love him, man. Like that, he truly is. Again, it's like.
So for those of you who don't know, me and this guy are talking about Christopher Mintz.
Yeah, Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
AKA Nick Lovin.
Yeah. So I mean, he is again. It's Boston embraced him because.
Right. Well, he's a Boston kid, right?
No, so his father's from Worcester.
Right.
And he was such a Celtics fan, and this is how the story. He got connected to me. He was 18 years old.
He was underage. I remember that.
He just got his first paycheck from Superbad.
Right.
And so the first big thing that he wanted to buy was floor seats to Celtics game.
Right.
So his manager connected me, and they're like, "Hey, they're coming out." So I'll never forget that and it was in the paper because he spent some fucking exuberant amount of money on Celtics tickets. And then I met him.
Which you could have gotten him.
So that's what happened. The next night, I go, "Bro, I can get you fucking free tickets."
Right.
I go, "What are you doing?"
Right.
And so we ended up and his parents, he was, under 21.
Right.
They started trusting the fact that he'd come stay at my house.
Right, I remember he stayed. Something with your dogs. I'm
he would they would stay at my house, and then we would come to games, go to games together, and he really became a good fucking friend of mine. He's just such a good kid.
I think one of the most craziest pictures I saw was when it was you, him. Chris Evans, you had the whole fucking.
We do these whole groups of everybody would just go out together,
right, into the Patriot games.
Yeah, and then or we do other stuff after we'd just go back to hotel rooms and play running charades. We play with Dane Cook and all these other actors and Chris Evans and Chris Mintz-Plasse and whole groups of everybody, and we'd play fucking games.
See, I wish that they had camera phones for that.
Yeah.
I wish that you were able to record that.
Yeah, I'll tell you another, I remember
so many,
for a whole week, I took out Chaz Palminteri.
Right.
And now, Bronx Teal, he was just great guy, and wanted just me to hang out with it. Like, just wanted to go out and just have somebody to talk to. Like, I mean, these guys, like those type of people that are in that actually just want, like, just somebody to, you know, to like talk to outside of thing and just be and hang out with. Like,
he's a smart dude.
Yeah,
he's
very
a really smart dude.
I mean,
but you know what? You are actually in one of the most iconic pictures I've ever seen, and I think we're gonna have to use it for this B-roll. I remember in the North End, you and the whole cast, Nick Verano and the whole cast of The Sopranos.
Yeah, I mean that was actually it was in Fox. It was me, Nick Verano, Jeff Caligari, who became a big. He owns owns a big production company.
Right.
Tons and tons of movies. He's in it.
But this is when Sopranos was at its prime.
Yeah, and we actually had like a sit down dinner with the whole fucking. I mean, I'm like Lorraine Bracco is like right in fucking front of me, like from my favorite movie, Goodfellas.
Right.
Like, I mean, and Michael Imperioli and all the guys, and the whole cast is in it. And that was an epic of being able to be there with the whole cast of The Sopranos.
So I mean, you could never say that you lived a boring life. I mean, nobody could say that it wasn't fun being you.
And again, it's not. I mean, again, this isn't glorifying it. This is the fact is that they're treated the same way I would treat someone that's just coming in there buying a ticket.
Right.
Everybody is a fucking VIP.
Right.
And there's times that I've had to put celebrities in their own fucking place. I'm like, I don't need. Listen, the one thing I got to say to them, you're not fucking paying me.
Right.
I'm doing this out of like, again, because someone asked me to do it. I'm taking care of you.
Right.
The second you're going to start getting egotistical, fuck you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to kiss your fucking ass.
Did you have a lot of those guys, or most people respect it?
There were some times that, like, I've had to call certain people out. There were certain reality show females that didn't even want to say hi to their fucking guests. I'm like, these people wanted, like, they paid here to see you, and you're not even going to go walk the crowd to see them?
Right.
You know, that's fucking bullshit. I've left.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's been plenty of times of that people, or they didn't want to pay, like, again, sometimes we couldn't comp their tab. I'm not paying my fucking tab.
Right.
Oh, yes, the fuck you are paying that tab. You're paying that fucking tab.
Right.
You know, where they get so egotistical that now certain times, like, you can comp them, sometimes you can't.
You know who I remember pull that shit, the Roxy? It was Antoine Walker when he played for the Celtics.
Oh, yeah. Or, what's his name? Oh, my God. The comedian that was in...
I'll get it.
The comedian with Will Smith that does...
Martin Lawrence?
Yes. Martin Lawrence pulled that shit on Lansdowne Street.
No.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, shit, that's right.
He didn't want to fucking pay his tab.
That's right.
And they're just like, dude, he ran up a fucking exuberant tab, but he's like, I'm not fucking paying it. And his boys started getting all uppity.
What do you think was the craziest party that you've seen, like, just the most amount of celebrity-wise? I remember for Boston, I remember what mine was. Do you remember, like, what yours...
It was one time at Splash that they were doing a rap party, but also, like, again, the one that the Rock came in, the game plan, like that one was like the whole everybody came out,
right,
and including oh my God, what's his name from Morris Chestnut, like all the boys of the hood,
right.
Like their whole cast came out in this little fucking room, you know what I mean? It just, or again, it was like, or another time, which is like, which I loved, it was like when Chris Mintz-Plasse, like when they were like in a championship, fucking the whole Celtics came out to District just to hang out with him.
Right, Garnett,
Rondo, Pierce, you know,
Ray
Perkins,
Allen, right.
Everybody,
right.
They all fucking came in,
right.
And me and London are sitting there hosting like this tiny little fucking place to hold 180 people, and everybody's trying to fucking come in because like the whole team came in just to hang out with them.
But like, dude, I mean, you've hosted everybody from Mike Tyson to the Kardashian to Hillary Duff at that time to, I mean, literally everybody that was on E at the time, like you had walked through your doors.
It was, I mean, it was a different time, but again, like now it's funny because like I used to, like I said, I would make sure, and I didn't even give a fuck. I would just get the picture for press.
Right.
I didn't want to bother them. I told them, I go, listen, let me just get a picture, and I'm not going to bother you.
Right.
But I need a picture.
Do you remember this party on Lansdowne Street? I mean, to this day, it was the craziest party I've ever seen, just because it was supposed to be the Avalon party called It's a Small World, and it was hosted by Mini-Me. And it just
oh my God, I remember that. Yeah.
And Michael Jordan came through because they were playing the golf tournament. It was the Boston Film Festival, so like Stephen Baldwin walked in, and then Alanis Morissette walks in, and then the whole cast from American Beauty with Kevin Spacey walk in. And dude, it was Damon Wayans came in. Bruce Willis was with JL.
Yeah, I remember Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, bro, it's just the most random. Like, it's just.
But I've never, like, that one night and in the next 3 weeks, all over the national news was like, you know, Avalon.
Yeah.
And it was, you know.
I remember that night, dude. I remember, you know, dude, and it's funny because I totally forgot that I talked to Bruce Willis. Like, that's, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, you know, seeing these, like, you know, you forget some of the stories and they just pop in your head. Like, I'm like right now just reliving. Like, I remember like him walking through I had to walk him through the doors of Embassy to bring him, because you do have the upstairs connection.
Upstairs through Avalon,
and then he
by the DJ booth.
Yeah, because then they went into that little VIP booth that overlooked the whole Avalon.
Right. And I remember it was like, it was a time, man. It was a moment in time that, you know, I don't think we'll ever get back.
Dude, you know, listen, man, and again, I know you can't say it, but I'm talking from a business perspective. You know, obviously your era of being married with kids is your favorite era.
Absolutely.
But for as far as for your nightlife era, that was the most famous fucking era of my life.
Right.
Like that time in that, you know, that late 90s to like early 2000s, like that was, if I could go back to being in a nightlife era, it would be that.
So even my wife, Caitlin, worked at Avalon towards like on the down, like when I was already kind of getting out, she was still working at Avalon. She's like sitting there and Slash is performing with, not Guns N' Roses, Velvet Revolver. He's like tuning up like songs in front of her. She's like, it's not normal. It's like, I don't know. I feel like we'll never have that again.
No,
you know?
man, it's just like, or, you know, House of Pain or whatever. Like, it's just being able to, you know, go there and like, you know, they could have one of these like small bands, like, you know, where like Tommy Lee's band was playing over at it, you know, whatever, like at Axis, like, you know, like he's like his little band was playing over there, or, you know, or whatever. Like, it's, you got to go up there, and if you work there, you just walk right in, or
Dude,
or even having the power of like, I could just fucking walk into Fenway Park.
Right.
Like, they didn't even stop. Like, oh, you want to come in? I'd walk right in my radio. I'd walk right into Fenway Park, watch any game that I ever wanted to.
The perks were great.
The perks were great.
The perks were. I remember also like with Chris G, where we had to go collect checks at the Roxy. All of a sudden, we go upstairs. Leonard Skinner is warming up "Sweet Home Alabama." Like,
wow. Yeah.
It's, you know, it was great. And then even like all the management from like Lansdowne Street. I remember like we all used to like go to concerts. I remember all like with Brig and those guys all going to what was the center in Mansfield?
Tweeter Center.
Tweeter
at
Center.
The time. Yeah.
It was like, you know, Nelly Furtado and Outkast, and they were all hanging out the night before, and like we all had free tickets, and it was great.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can't say. I mean, listen, man. And there's, you know, it's funny because I don't take the opportunities now, because I really like, you know, I live such a yin yang life. Like, I used to always have FOMO, so I had to go out every night of the week.
Right.
Now, in my older age, it's like I'm still very much in it, but like you can't get me to fucking come down to my, like, if I'm not working, I'm a Lottie boy now. Like, it was very difficult for you and for me back then, because on Friday, Saturday night, while everybody's exploring the world, we knew where we were going to be. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that was one of the things that takes a huge toll on your mind, your body, you know, all of it. So like when I retired from that scene, I never wanted to go out again for a while.
Yeah.
Like it was, but what is for you, what is the next chapter of Winter bring?
Again, it's, you know, I came down here, and I do feel that, and you talk about it a lot, the next, you know, the second generation, the third generation, I'm waiting for the proper time when the landlords are going to be like, shit, I really got to give up a lot of tenant allowance. I have to lower my rent to make this sustainable for an actual business. They have totally lost. Absolutely, you know, these landlords are absolutely gouging these fucking restaurants. Rather than having somebody sustainable that's going to stay open for 5 years, they want to fucking like rip their money right out of their fucking pocket, make it impossible for them to open. There's no way they're going to get an ROI. So when that generation, when it's like I think a fourth or fifth generation, that they're going to be like, hey, we're going to give you $1 million in build out, 5 months fucking free. Then like, listen, I came down here to build up my networks. And listen, I know how to open up stuff. And that would probably be my next generation, is that I'm going to probably bring some stuff down here. I mean, no, I'm not going to make the mistake. Like, again, there's so many businesses that like, hey, you know, I have this top fucking place in Chicago. I have this top place in Boston. I have this top place like this. And then they think that they're going to come down here and they think that the name is going to carry them down here. Nope. Doesn't fucking work.
9 months.
9 months.
Right.
If that.
If that.
And I mean, like, look what just happened with Kelly's.
Yep.
Kelly's roast beef, like a fucking staple.
Legendary.
They opened up 6 or 7 of them over on the East Coast. They didn't even last a fucking year.
Right.
Because you think that something, just because it works in one area. Now, again, it's like, you know, I wanted to work it the other way around, that I wanted to come down here. I wanted to build up my name and build up the right thing, to have the right networks that I could be like, hey, come down and, you know, invite them down to my restaurant, invite them down and, you know, do it the right way, and not just say, hey, I'm going to open up a fucking Mija down here. It wouldn't have worked.
I would still, I'll be honest, and even though I tell restaurants, and it's my job to open a place for them, when they say I'm going to open a place, I'm like, why? Don't do it. Like, but I will tell you, the one restaurant I would bring down here from Boston, Anna's Taqueria.
Oh my God.
I would absolutely, guys, any day of the week, we'll have a conversation. I will open you guys up down
that'd
here.
be very easy to open up, dude. I mean, it's so fucking easy. I mean, we could just open up Kanish's fucking taqueria.
Kanish's Taqueria would be great.
Yeah.
But in our final question, you know, obviously every person that comes on, I ask what their favorite things are. Given that this is a very special episode and we went down memory lane in Boston, Mike Winter, what are your top 5 Boston restaurants?
First of all, listen. I'm going to say this, dude. First of all, any Massachusetts Chinese food restaurant, it fucking sucks down here. Like, goddamn, would somebody fucking just, like, even Kowloon's, which a lot of their shit is like reheated up. Dude, fucking bring your chefs. I mean, I'm going to go fucking bring a truck up there, bring some chefs down here.
We need it.
The Chinese food, dude, Florida, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
We need it big
Chinese
time.
food is terrible. I mean, and we have such, I mean, listen, you have such a huge, it's mini Israel down here. You guys, like fucking, like they want to eat fucking Chinese food on Christmas.
Good Chinese food.
It's fucking terrible Chinese food. So listen, it's not just one restaurant. I would bring a Chinese food restaurant down here.
Okay, anybody in particular? If you could wave a magic wand, number 1, what is your favorite? What's the Chinese restaurant you're bringing down?
Oh my God, dude. I mean, it's not like, because there's the if it's from like Chinatown one, it would be like Golden Gate.
Golden Gate.
I mean,
really Golden Gate.
Just for
Right.
I like their milk balls.
I do like their milk balls.
So just for like a late night eatery, for that aspect, it would be like that. But I mean,
all right, so that's number 1. Okay, so we got Golden Gate as number 1.
but again, I still think that if Kowloon's did it correctly, they could murder it down here.
Kowloon's number 2.
Yeah.
Why? What do you like about Kowloon's?
Oh my God, their saugus wings. They have these fucking saugus wings. It's the most delicious thing. And then they have teriyaki tips. Amazing. Again, like, listen, lobster sauce down here is fucking yellow. At least it's brown over there. And their fucking pork fried rice down here is yellow. It needs to be fucking brown. Like, they get it right on that aspect. So their teriyaki tips, their pork fried rice, and their lobster sauce. I mean, again, I love lobster sauce, and there is no lobster sauce, guys. Just to let you know down here.
What do we got for number 3?
For what? For restaurants?
Yep, in Boston.
Well, they have it up in Boca, Abe and Louie's.
Yep.
Fucking Abe and Louie's is still my favorite.
Back Bay Restaurant Group.
It's still my favorite steakhouse.
I took my son there recently.
Yeah, you know, again, like I know they have like Mastro's and Mastro's Prime and, you know, a bunch of other great steakhouses. They open up Daniel's and this and that.
Yep.
Dude, Abe and Louie's, like I will still.
What do you love about Abe and Louie's? I mean, I know what I like about the Boylston Street one.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you love about it?
Well, yeah, it is the atmosphere on Boylston Street. I mean, it's just, and it's
cougars, the most amount of cougars you ever see.
But you know what it is? Again, it's the same thing that you brought up about what's a perfect sauce about 11. The way that they treat their customers from the maitre d', from the host when they walk in there to your actual, you know, you'll have 3 guys waiting on you and they're like, dude, if I have iced tea, if it's almost done, they bring me another fucking iced tea. Right. I don't want to have to wait for water. They bring it. Like their hospitality, the way that they take care of their guests that's what makes a restaurant. And a lot of people have lost touch of that. You can't hire good help. They have good help. And the people that, you know, it holds a testament. Some of the guys have been there for like 30, 40 fucking years. Like, you know, that's how you know that it's the right sauce.
What do we got for number 4? And again, you could go dive, you could go just your favorites. Like when you're in Boston, what do you like? What must you have?
Well, dude, I mean, I need bakery. Dude, I'm sorry. Like, we're going to go a little bit away from bakery, but I mean, listen, it's going to be not just one, but probably three different bakeries in the North End. It's going to be a modern, especially if it's late night, I'm fucking smashing a cannoli at Bova's, or I'm going to go see Mike behind the thing. But listen, which is very unsanitary. I'd give Mike, the guy that works, the Vietnamese guy that worked behind at Bova's at 3 a.m., I give him $20 and he squirt as much cannoli cream until like directly squirt it in my fucking mouth until I can, like, I just love cannoli cream. Yeah, I know this sounds kind of fucking perverted, but I mean, I would do it in this video. Trust me.
I love it.
And then listen, man. A lot of people try to do it down here, and I really have had trouble finding amazing Italian. And now it's not just one. I mean, again, it's just like there's not just one. And again, you know, listen, I love the ambiance of Anthony's Runway 84, like it's great, great thing. But I mean, listen, it's okay. I went in there. It was the most saltiest food I've ever. No disrespect. I will go back there just because I love the ambiance and I love Sinatra and hearing all the Italian music. And you feel like you're walking into a 70s like mafia type thing.
Yep.
Great ambiance. But again,
who would you bring? Who from Boston would you bring? Who does it right? I mean, we have a lot of friends.
Well, I think it's called. It's crazy. There was my favorite fucking Italian
all
restaurant.
time.
Well, it was. I think it's in Alston, Brighton, and it's called like Carlos or Carla. I forgot.
Carlos.
It's a little hole in the wall,
yes,
but
it's called Carlos.
Carlos, but
Right.
Their food is like it was mom and pop, which I like. And again, it's like North End is very is very commercial. And there are some decent restaurants, but I'm not going to the fucking North End to go get good Italian food.
You know what they don't have here that's always fucking great in Boston? Thai food. Like brown sugar in fucking Boston.
Oh my God! And then when it's your birthday, they shut the whole fucking lights down. It turns into a disco party. Yeah, yes. Again, I agreed. Brown sugar. And listen, in Lottie, I found some great Thai food. In Lottie, there's like one that's a Michelin star rated one. And I went there and it was amazing.
Right, but that's the problem. None in Miami.
Yeah, and again, it's like this, and I hate to say this again. I'm not dogging out Miami. I love Lauderdale. I love going. Like, listen, you have to dress one way to go to Ocean Primes or Mastro, like in Miami. But you go to the one in Fort Lauderdale. You can be in shorts and tank, or a shorts and a polo, and they're not going to judge you.
Right.
Like you get the same experience. But it's a lot more that Martha's Vineyard type of people, the way they dress, and you don't have to be like seen or be seen like you do in Miami, but you can get the same amazing food and experience in Fort Lauderdale.
And the value.
Yeah.
And like you just get good value and good food.
Yeah.
I think that's what people want these days, man.
Yeah, and again like that. So a good Italian Boston Italian restaurant, growing up in like Framingham, like I miss like a true Italian Italian store that actually like you get a fucking real Italian sandwich.
Right.
Like I mean, you walk in the back there's the deli, like an old school deli, and they're making like this fucking place, Waverly Market I grew up in, like the grandmother would make a meatloaf. So they would make these Italian sandwiches, and then she would shave a little piece of Italian meatloaf onto your actual sandwich.
I love that.
And it's like you don't have that like Italian market that's gonna have like a sandwich shop in it, like type thing down here.
It's tough to afford. You got to charge like $30 a sandwich.
I know, and it's just fucking. It's like again, we got to bring these fucking rent prices down so you can actually have like the corner neighborhood Italian market that's gonna have a great fucking sandwich. I mean, like they don't really have that.
And that is what makes you you, and that is why I love you. Dude, thank you so much for coming on today, bro. You were incredible. You were amazing. I always love to consider you a close friend. I just wish I got to see you more.
I know we
always fucking say, we're gonna go have dinner. We're gonna have dinner.
I know.
You're gonna come over to my house. We're gonna.
I'm sorry. No, dude, it's fucking terrible, man.
But you're the best, brother. Listen,
you,
good
buddy.
luck with everything. Keep revolutionizing the business. Tell Gino, Adam, the whole crew, mad respect. We love them. We need them on. And dude, thank you so much for.
I'll get them all on, and some of them wanted to be on, but they were busy. I was going to try to bring them, but some of them do want to come.
We'll get them each on individual. I want to hear each story individually.
We'll set this up at 11 and have.
You don't got to ask me twice, bro.
Yeah.
Down.
Thank you,
brother. Thank you so much.
Love you, buddy.
I love you, kiddo.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.